Bye bye, lead vendor. Hey,
Hey, Elvis, what's up?
what up, Jeff? How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Mike Goldstein, that's you?
What's going on, Elvis? How's your day going?
Fantastic, man.
What's up, Nigel?
How are you? Nice to meet you.
Jeff Prankington. And then Shasta, where you from?
I'm from Austin, Texas.
Ah, I love Austin.
Quick overview, my story, how I got here, why I'm helping people when it comes to AI and automation. So quick agenda. I'll share again a little bit about myself. This will be like 10, 15 minutes. I'll share the strategy that we've been implementing with all types of entrepreneurs, a lot of people in the insurance space, a lot of people in real estate, a lot of different industries, and what it actually looks like to scale on social media. And I'll give a few examples. And when we're scaling on social media, we got to spend money to advertise. And we got to have a goal in mind of like, what is our desired customer acquisition cost? Like, how much are we willing to pay to get a client? And the goal for everybody should always be getting that customer
Yeah.
acquisition cost to zero, right? So that's where I'm going to transfer it over to Johnny. He's been doing an incredible job of his side of things and just helping himself build an audience so he doesn't even have to pay for advertising. Robert, you joined us. There we go.
Hey man.
We just did a quick little go around. If you want to share where you're from and what you do, just so everybody else can know you.
Hey. Yes, I'm from San Diego, California, and I got a film and video business here. I've been in advertising for a lot of years. Really interested in your stuff, John, and connecting with you. But more importantly, I've got a facility that is 50,000 square feet, and we need to fill it. And I do want to ditch the lead vendor. Thank you very much. And that's why I'm here today.
Awesome. Great to have you, Rob. So, yeah, I was sharing. We have a quick agenda. I'm going to go over a few side of things on my end. Johnny's going to share his stuff. And what I was saying right now, as I close this door that's like making noise, the goal for all of us is to build long-term connections on social media, build a strategy that's going to help us get clients without even spending money on advertising. And that's what Johnny, he's here. He's going to share some of his side of things. But again, who is this for? Any entrepreneur that's tired of buying leads off of lead vendors, tired of getting taken advantage of by marketing agencies.
Yeah.
And the outcome they're looking for is they want to create a predictable way of just getting leads in the door, leads and
Mm-hmm.
appointments. And obviously, with automation and technology, we can do that. So I've been able to help a lot of people, over 100 people in the past couple of years with AI lead automation. I come from a B2B outside sales space. So I did a lot of knocking on doors. I would wear a suit and just sweat my butt off and be really jealous of the people that knew how to do it on social media.
Mm-hmm.
In 2019, I had this idea to create my own product because I just saw it like the online space, and I knew if I can create my own product and if I can learn advertising, I can actually, build something on the side. And I invented this product named Pump Pal, the first reusable gas glove, sticks on your gas tank door. It was an idea I had. I didn't like touching gas pump handles. And I thought, if I can create this, I can learn ads. That'll be great. But it didn't work that way. I had to spend a lot of money at first. I spent over $20,000 hiring marketing agencies, didn't get any results. And then eventually I learned what it was like to create a predictable system on social media. And I had $500 left on a credit card. And that $500, I went all in on paid ads on Facebook and TikTok. And from there, it was able to scale to 100K a month in 8 weeks. And that's the power of like knowing your customer acquisition cost and just creating a system where, in my case, you put $5 in, you get one customer back. And for everybody here, everybody has their own product, their own service, and there's a goal that we want to get to. We want to pick a goal of how many clients we want to get and how much are we willing to pay to get to that amount of clients or to get to each client. For me, it was $5. I needed to create an ad that gave me a $5 customer acquisition cost. And the way these systems work is they're very predictable. So when you do get your system in a way where you are spending money on ads and you're seeing that profitable return, all you got to do is keep raising the budget. And that's how I was able to sell 55,000 of these. I would have starved if I tried to sell them like door to door on my own. It was a $20 product. But when you create a system, very, very, very high leverage. So from there, I wanted to tap into the B2B space and start helping other people when it comes to AI. Because again, I spent all this money on marketing agencies, like $20,000, didn't get any results. And has anybody else been there where you've spent like 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 on agencies and didn't get results?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what I saw is before there was a lot of outsourced marketing agencies where you were forced to do this. Because again, to create ads and to understand all of this, everything we're going to talk about today, you needed to be an expert marketer. You needed to first know what you were doing and then execute on the stuff, right? Be able to write scripts that would actually get people to buy stuff. Now, as long as you know the structures and you know the frameworks, and I'm going to go over some of that now, you can use AI to automate everything for you. So I ended up tapping into the B2B space. I got to work with these individuals. And in 2022, that was the discovery. It's like you don't need an outsourced agency. You can become your own lead vendor. So from there, this is what the process looks like. I like to like break it down as easy as possible, right? So if the end goal is we just want more revenue into our business, obviously that can only happen if we get more closed deals. And we can only get more closed deals if we get more appointments. We can only get more appointments if we get more leads. Online, we can't get leads if we're not getting clicks, and we can't get clicks if we're not getting views. So if we just reverse engineer it, what it takes to really build something on social media, we want to be posting the right content minimum 20 times a month is what I've seen. At least like if you're posting once a day every workday and you're being consistent and you have the right strategy, you will get clicks. And on the paid ad side of things, you pay about 20 to $50 per day. That's like a minimum budget we recommend. That's going to get you about 1,000 to 2,500 views per day. From there, you're going to get data back. On average, you'll get maybe 2 to 10 leads for that budget, right? But we got to have the right strategy. And sometimes you will start off spending the 20 to $50 a day and you won't see the right strategy, which this is going to tie back to why what Johnny's doing is so important because nowadays you don't even need to spend money. If you have the right strategy, you can get that amount of views, right? The example here of 1,000 to 2,500 views, you can get that organically with the right strategy. Now, from here, we want to automate our process because since we're competing in the online space, there's a lot of competition and speed to lead is really important. So like we use Go High Level as a CRM. We automate the process. So like when the leads come in, we can get an email, we get some kind of a notification. And then from there, it just becomes a game of data-driven decisions, right? So posting 20 times a month minimum, and you're auditing your organic content and you're making data-driven decisions, which Johnny's going to touch on that. And then on the paid ad side, you're seeing which ads are getting you a better cost per lead or a better customer acquisition cost. And we're just spending more money on the stuff that's working, less money on the stuff that's not working. And the reason we have this whole like ditch your lead vendor accelerator is because it does take some time to like build this out for yourself. But once you do, you will never buy leads off of lead vendors again. Like once you do this the right way, you shouldn't be. And that's like what we did with Chuck. He's an example, a great case study, right? He was buying leads off of lead vendors, $50 or more per lead. He stayed really, really consistent with the process. Consistency is everything, right? He was posting 20 times a month. We turned those videos into paid ads. He started making videos, like longer form videos for people to see. So like when they book a call, they get to see a video. Like, hey, this is Chuck. And all he's doing here is just building trust and rapport throughout the whole sales process while automating it. And he was able to scale really fast. And I talk about this, like there's been a lot of examples like this, but he was able to scale really fast. And going back to what the initial part of this call, like I want to really dive into this part with Johnny because Chuck is spending probably $50,000 a month on ads and he's crushing it. but there's a lot of people out there that are spending zero. And that's where I've seen Johnny go from 1,300 followers to 128,000 followers in just 8 weeks. And when I first connected with Johnny, he was somebody I wanted to connect with, and like, maybe I can help him out with paid ads at some point. And when I brought it up to him, he's like, hold up, I don't think I want to run paid ads yet. I think I'm seeing some traction here. I think I can do this on my own. So I'm gonna pass the floor over to him. I want to share like the success he's had over the past 8 weeks because it's been remarkable. And I truly believe when you combine like some of the stuff we're doing with the paid ads and the funnels and just having the right strategy, when you combine that with a solid organic strategy, it is hard to fail. So with that said, I want to pass it over to Johnny. Take the floor.
There we go. You guys can all see that?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about myself, and then I'm going to go into what we're going to be doing, how this plays in, and why having an audience is so important. So my name is Johnny. I'm a rock and roller. My past career was being on the road long stretches at a time, but I also managed rock and roll clubs in North Carolina. As I was getting older in my 20s, I couldn't be hanging out at the bar all the time. In fact, I was so rock and roll that my apartment was above the bar that I managed. If you want to wreck your life, that's how you start right there. So knowing that I needed to find other things to do, I got into psychology. I figured, hey, I got a laboratory of live rats every night while I'm bartending to practice psychology. So I went out, I bought a bunch of books, and I would take one concept at a time and apply those concepts at work. And when I started applying these concepts at work, I started tripling my tips. I got really addicted to it. Not only was I tripling my tips, I was making better connections, making better friends, and starting to find a life outside of the rock and roll lifestyle that I was living. Now, this led me in getting more involved with psychology, and please forgive me, at the time, and I was a young man, the whole pickup thing was blowing up online. And I had met some guys who started a podcast called The Art of Charm. And I was going to DC to help run some classes and to talk with the young guys about making better connections with people. And upon meeting these podcasters, we decided to join forces. As their podcast blew up, they needed a coach and a program. Well, I supplied that. And this is back before even Joe Rogan had a podcast. So we were first in the door, and you get a lot of advantages being first in the door. So that podcast, it blew up in LA. Now, this is where the interesting thing happens. As we were running our programs for 10 years, we started to recognize that more and more serious type people were registering for our programs. It wasn't just young kids trying to get better with the ladies. It's now professionals who are looking to gain an edge using emotional intelligence in their career. And then it started to be all of these high special elite military personnel. And that was really interesting to us. Is this a new path for us to go with our curriculum and the podcast and what we were doing? So as we started talking with these guys, they started bringing in more and more elite special forces in. And then we were only doing programs for the elite special forces. Then they asked us to design a specific curriculum for the elite special forces for first boots on the ground. So these are the Jedburghs, these are the Rangers. They are going out, establishing connection, gathering intel, and getting everything in place to build supply lines using our emotional intelligence curriculum to get this. So we started running these trainings, and we were going up to Fort Campbell, going to Fort Bragg. But here's what was fun. I applied the research and the curriculum that we use to build out elite human dynamics to my social intelligence channel, which I created. it was at that point that everything blew up, because now I was branded in a certain way. I was creating content that was directly targeted to who I wanted to be working with, who I wanted one-on-ones with, who I want in my programs. And so that's the importance of understanding how this works, being targeted in your message, and being able to reach the people that you need to reach. Am I talking too fast? You guys following along?
No, that's a good job.
All right.
You're good.
All right. So let's now talk about what we're going to be working on. So first thing here is go viral or go broke. That's the goal. The goal is to go viral. You go viral with the right message, you'll never have to pay for another lead the rest of your life. But there's also another piece to this, which is creating content that consistently gets you followers, which turn to leads that are targeted up to the direct people that you want to be working with. All right. And when you're creating that content, as Elvis said, you can be spending that money every day, but also let's say you get 2,000 and 5,000 followers, which isn't unheard of and is pretty easy with the correct strategies and effort. Now you have a test market where you can shoot out different messaging, seeing what resonates with that targeted audience that you cultivated. When you have the right audience and the right message and things blow up, then you go to Elvis, then you go to your paid ads, because you know the money that you're spending on those things are working. It's resonating. It's pedal to the metal. There's no more paid to see what sticks. It's already done. Okay? So how we're going to do that? We're going to be getting your branding straight through your core values, and understanding of what your core values are and how you'll express them in the content that you create. That allows people to connect with you, understand that you're for real, and begin to build a relationship with you. We're going to build a targeting system so that the content that you create goes to the people that you want to be working with. As I don't know how many other guys are coaches or do work with people one-on-one. When you got a bad client or somebody who you don't vibe with, if you better, I hope you can fire them as a client, because working with them is only going to create more headaches for yourself. So making sure that your content reaches the exact people you want to be hitting. We're going to build a feedback loop through a system that I used and I created for myself, so that every piece of content that you shoot out, you can look at it after about 5 to 7 days and see where it stuck, where it didn't land, what things could be fixed, so that that data of the videos that you create is giving you something to work at. So you were able to tweak, because it's not going to come together at first. We're going to have to build that. Then we're going to be putting together and understanding what viral hooks look like, how you can find viral hooks easily, and then also understand the components so that you could be creating and testing. Once you find an ad that resonates with the information you want, you can test hooks till the cows come home and never have to worry about creating that video again. Now you're only creating the CTA and the hook. So now you're just testing different hooks every day to see what launches that video. We're going to be then talking about storytelling, how to build a story that people get sucked into. I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people know. It's incredibly important. You may have heard this in passing, but there is nothing more important than this. Stories sell. They don't buy your product. They buy the story. The story has to make them feel something. When they buy, they're purchasing that story to be a part of that. We're also going to talk about several psychological barriers that social media has created to reward people who make it through those psychological barriers. There are two. One is Cringe Mountain. You can look this stuff up. All the kids know about it. Everyone on social media knows about it. These are set up, and this is where people fail. People get demoralized, they get frustrated, and they quit. I will show you how to get through these step by step. I'm going to be working with all of you guys. There's going to be opportunities for all you guys every week to book time with me to go over things, look at stuff, and make sure that you're having fun doing this. So Cringe Mountain is the first one. The second psychological barrier is Valley of Despair. That's all about looking for the hooks that take your content off and creating and understanding what targets look like so you can begin creating content that hits those targets. What you will see when we begin building out the feedback loop is every piece of content that you make that is answering a question. TikTok, for instance, gives you a target. The bullseye is when you hit it directly. Everything outside of that is when you make content and maybe you got 20,000 views. Maybe you got 5,000 views. You made the right content. You just didn't hit the bullseye. I found that bullseye twice, and now I'm 2 videos alone are now approaching 3 million views. And then lastly, we're going to be discussing about the first rule in influence and persuasion is attention. When you have their attention, you can build a connection. Once you build that connection, you hit them with your intention. That may be your lead magnet, coaching, whatever it is that you are selling, so that you are not chasing leads. They're asking you for this stuff. All right.
Bye bye, lead vendor.